Till you start. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm so excited that you're all here. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this beautiful evening. I don't know about where you are, but where I am, there is quite a lot of snow. So thank you for being here. Tonight we're going to talk about Solex and specifically the AO scan and how Tina and I use it for doing groups and working with multiple people at once, multiple clients at once, or all of your family members all at the same time, and different ways that you might structure groups, different features of the AO scan that you might be using with groups. So we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. So if you haven't met me before, Tina, can you just change the slide for me?
I will.
If you haven't met me before, my name is Julie. I've been a holistic nutritionist and a bioenergetic practitioner for over 12 years. So I've actually been using frequencies before I knew about the AO scan. So for 12 years, I've been using different frequencies in different forms. I have small vials that I use for testing people. Then I use the BioScan SRT. I did have a Healy at one point. I use emotion code and Psych-K. So there's so many different tools and techniques that you can use that all incorporate frequencies. But I have to say that AO scan is by far my absolute favorite tool. And Tina and I have known each other for quite a while. We met each other with the first modality that we were using, which was BIE. So Tina, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Thank you, Julie. Just getting used to the controls here. Yes, my name is Tina Quinn, and Julie trained in bioenergetics before me, but I knew she was an amazing practitioner from our teacher, and I got into it in 2014. That's pretty much what started me in my holistic journey because I was trying to figure out my son. And that brought me into the gut allergies because he had allergies. And it brought me into full circle into the gut. And then I certified as a fermentationist. And I just kept going. I'm a life learner, hair tissue mineral analysis, which helped me detect his autism early. And yeah, and now since I've learned about this distance technology, it's just a beautiful thing to be able to work with your family, whether they're in the house or away, and then other clients.
Awesome. So, as many of you probably know, energy is absolutely everything. Everything is made up of energy. Every person, every dog, every animal, every tree, every food that we eat, everything has its own frequency. And our bodies either resonate with a frequency or they don't, meaning they either accept a frequency or they resist or repel a frequency. And so that could be true about something in our environment. It could be true about a food. It could be true about something within our body. So our heart, our brain, and all of our organs, we all have measurable electrical signals. And through those signals, they're able to find a blueprint signal or a frequency, which is the healthy version of the heart or the brain or a neurotransmitter or a hormone. And so what the AO scan is doing is it's showing our body what is a healthy brain cell. And then if our body matches with that brain cell, it's in resonance or it understands that frequency. If it is unhealthy or not functioning properly, or maybe it's a strawberry that the body's not recognizing, that's going to show up on the scan as dissonant or not resonating with our body. And so because everything is energy, our bodies naturally respond really well to frequency-based medicine. And that works really well to promote balancing and healing within our body, simply by using this non-invasive technology to gently guide the body back to homeostasis where it needs to be healthy. So the AO scan is non-invasive, like I mentioned. It's designed to analyze and then optimize the body's energy field. It works by scanning the body and detecting frequencies and imbalances, and then providing targeted frequencies to help restore harmony. So a little bit about the history of the AO scan. In 1982, Lawrence Swenson, who is the founder of the AO scan, he adopted a son with cerebral palsy. So he was traveling all around the world to try and find ways to improve his son's quality of life. And he invented the theta chamber, which really helped to reverse his son's cerebral palsy. And then in 2008, he discovered the NLS system at a trade show in China. And his team created the first AO scan digital body analyzer. And then in 2012, the first large unit of the AO scan system sold for $38,000. So in case you weren't aware, it was originally a large unit, and they still do exist. But now we have the capability as of 2021 to access everything in that huge AO scan system that used to be $38,000 now at the palm of our hand, which anybody can use. It's not just limited to practitioners, which is amazing. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the history of the AO scan, you can go to YouTube and just search how Solex came to be, and there's a great short video there.
I think that's so important, Julie, like just to show how technology has come so far. I remember when Julie and I trained in bioenergetics, we had to be physically with our client. And it's just amazing because I was always wishing for that distance, a little more what we did, but at a distance. And we can all do it without machines. But I don't know, I just find it's so beautiful as soon as I heard about Solex and this technology and where it's come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So the programs, oh my goodness, we could talk for hours on all of these. And tonight we are going to focus on, we'll still put in a few things that you could do on your own or with the client one-on-one, but we really wanted to focus in on what we have done for group therapy pretty much. But just a few programs, you'll see some of these come over and over. EMF protection, I mean, at your fingertips. You can do it with the phone. If someone doesn't have it, you can get them a magnetic strip card, infuse that and give that to your significant others or all those people that you care about. And we have a supplement library. We'll talk about that. Easy Scan combines several of these. This is my go-to scan daily. It combines the inner voice, which we'll get into today, our vitals, which we'll get into today, and our comprehensive. So I'll bring the Easy Scan in throughout the presentation as we go forward. Over the last several years, we can now do multi-scan, and Julie is going to go into this quite a bit because she does a lot of group work and multicast. So we'll go through that. You'll learn about that a little more. And just admitting somebody. And then Cephis, our subtle energy frequency imprinter. This is probably the most heavily used. Well, we have quite a few slides on this. And MindSync, this is my new favorite. It's more recent, but I'll be talking about the group program that I have done with MindSync. Some of these with the star are only available when we actually have a university. We have 3 phases of once, if you join as a quantum living advocate, you have access to the university and you have level 1 and 2. And once you get to level 3, you get some more practitioner access. And Julie will talk a little bit more in the comprehensive scan and what else you can find with level 3. And also the dental scan. So we won't be going too much into these level 3 access, but we want to show you what you can do the moment you join or get the scan for yourself and what you can do with it. MindSync. So some of you that know me will know that I have done a lot of mindset coaching. I've invested a lot in mindset. And all of it is how to really take away our limiting beliefs and reprogram our subconscious. And when MindSync came out, it was like I was giddy that this could be part of all of it. And I had already been using the AO scan for several years. And when this came out, it just, I don't know, it all came together for me. And I was able to connect it with my passion, which is a positive mindset. So what this does, we can have, there's different settings. You can choose the different types of positive affirmations that you can say, or you have a 60-second or 120-second option. So you see in this image, I have a 120-second option, which I like because I like to customize it. Then there's music, and then there's the binaural process where you have a differential frequency between the two ears, and it actually makes that third frequency. And once it syncs to the center of your brain, I'm just going to let somebody in. Once you sync it to the middle of your brain, it really makes the subconscious, you could really reprogram your subconscious that much quicker. As many of you may know, if you've done mindset coaching, repetition is key. So even if you don't believe what you're saying, eventually, if you keep saying it, your subconscious doesn't know what's real, what's not real. And so that's why it's really, really important not to put yourself down, not to speak negatively about yourself or others, and not to, when you're in the fear mode, not to really think of that fear all the time. So MindSync has been huge for me. I use it every day, and I built a program around it. So I built a program called MindSync to Abundance, or into abundance. And what I did is every Monday, I have myself and a group of women. We've been meeting for Monday Mindset, our PJ Mindset, for just over 3 years. And we follow different authors. And we were following Mary Morrissey with her Abundance 8-week program. And I decided to combine MindSync with that. So each week we had a topic of the week. I would, for the clients that came into this 8-week program, I would give them a 120-second affirmation. So it was either an affirmation, if we were working on blockage release, it would be, I would give certain ones depending. So it would be customized to that person and what they needed, the blocks that they needed to release. And affirmations of what we were doing, the topic of the week. And yeah, and then I also gave custom affirmations at the end that they can keep, and that was kind of geared towards them. So this was a beautiful way of using MindSync. You can also have a tone. You can scan to see if the person needs more of an overwhelmed. So there's the binaural beats at that point. And then also different music. So I would send them their music. They would have their voice. So that's even more powerful. I would have them say, I am Tina, before they said their affirmation. So I'd actually run a vital scan on the, an inner voice, which Julie is going to talk to you about very shortly. So I do 2 scans in one. So then my AO scanner would get to know them for their target. And yeah, they would get an email with their affirmations and be able to listen to it. So this was just a piece, one of the many programs that we have, and I was able to build a program around it. And we have so many programs, so I'm gonna keep moving. Vitals, go ahead, Julie.
Okay, the vital scan is definitely one of my favorites. I use this scan with all of my clients, and I am so grateful that we can now use the vitals and comprehensive scan in multi-scan. I will talk about that in a minute, but you're able to do this scan with up to 16 people all at the same time. So I'll explain that in a minute. But the vital scan really tests anything that would kind of be in your blood biology. So it's testing for food and environmental sensitivity, your full CBC panel, hormones and thyroid, gastrointestinal function, your immune function, detoxification panel, your liver detoxification, cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, macro and micro minerals, bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. And just to keep in mind, so for anybody who's new or who maybe hasn't used the scanner before, nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody's going to have everything show up all green, all within balance. There are so many stressors that are affecting us all the time. You know, what we've eaten, if we've had a good sleep, if we're under stress. And if our body is under any of these stressors, then other things are going to show up out of balance. So keep in mind that when something shows up like viruses, bacteria, fungi, or parasites, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have them. It may mean that you have them, but it might mean that your body's just not recognizing that frequency right now. It could be that you've had a past exposure. It could be that your body's not recognizing it, so you might be susceptible to it. It could mean that you have it, but keep in mind that this is not diagnostic. It's just educational. And when you're looking at your scans, look for patterns. Once you do a few scans, look to see what keeps showing up over and over and over again, and then come up with a plan. But please know that it's educational, not diagnostic. That's a really important point. Just because you see some of these things show up, it does not mean that you have them. So it also tests for toxins such as mold and heavy metals, your chakras and meridians, your gastrointestinal function, and so much more. So that's the vital scan. And then there's the comprehensive scan. So the comprehensive scan is a detailed scan of the frequencies from over 130 organs, cells, bones, and chromosomes in your body. So it tests organs, veins, arteries, your skeletal system, connective tissue, nerves, lymphatic, ears, eyes. It's amazing. So this scan, when you're going to do this scan, if you have already done a vital scan that we just talked about, or if you've done an inner voice scan, which we've briefly talked about, when you do this scan, it will intuitively choose what to dive into further based on those scans. So that is really awesome. So the comprehensive scan, like it says, it's very comprehensive. There's a lot. You wouldn't want to scan everything in this section. It would be just too much. And if you're doing too much, then it's like throwing spaghetti at a wall. You know, you're not going to get great results if you're just doing everything that you can. You want to be really specific. So it's nice that you can do a scan based on your previous scan because it's intuitively choosing, or you can do a scan if you know that there's something specific happening. You know, if somebody has frozen shoulder, then you might want to go in and test anything related to the shoulder. So, you know, the muscles, the tissue, the arteries, anything relating to the shoulder and up to the neck. And just focus on those areas. And you might want to just do that yourself, unselect everything and select exactly what you want, which is how I love to use it when I'm working with something specific like an old injury.
Yeah, and I'll just add in, Julie, this also comes into play with that easy scan that I mentioned earlier. I do that each day, and that's why I like the scanner, to get to know each profile. And then when we do the inner voice, which you're going to go through, I love the easy scan because it does intuitively just pick it, and then you can see what's out of balance and start getting patterns. Yeah.
I should mention something else too.
Yeah.
Within that section, if somebody has an issue that's kind of nagging, you know, I had somebody come in and they had, well, actually by distance, they didn't come into my office, a nagging cough. And, you know, they've been to the doctor, they've tried everything. Actually, it had been 10 years they had this cough. And so he couldn't figure out what was causing the inflammation. They could see the inflammation there, but they didn't know why it was there. And so I had done a vital scan for him. But what I think was the magic was over and over and over again, I just kept scanning the respiratory system and the lungs. And I did that maybe 5 times a day, 2 days in a row, scan and optimize. And lo and behold, his cough was gone. So, you know, sometimes just doing that over and over and over again can be really, really helpful.
And one last note, people tend to get overwhelmed with the reports that you get with these. And really what I've learned over time, when I started, I was all into the reports and I realized that I just got too into it, too technical and scared everybody off. Really, I choose I choose this to kind of look at patterns and that's it. Oftentimes with my family, I don't go in to look at everything. I just trust that I'm scanning, optimizing, scanning, optimizing. I don't even look unless I'm looking for something for myself. I really don't go into deep for the reports. So you can do this without learning everything about the body. And I think that's important for us to transfer over to you guys.
Mhm. So it's based on and a bio-individuality approach because we are all unique in our biological makeup and needs, and understanding yourself and your family's blueprint is vital to healing. So the AO scan educates you on the energetic state of being. And I just saw a quick question at the side there asking if we have to do an inner voice before doing comprehensive. And while it's ideal, it is nice to do inner voice scans so that the system gets to know you. You don't have to. You can do your own scan and without doing the inner voice scans, or you can go in and do a comprehensive and just select what you need. You only need the inner voice if you want to do a scan based on the inner voice.
Perfect. Let's see what's next. Ooh, multi-scan. Your favorite.
Yes, I love that. Sorry, my daughter's calling 3 times in a row and I'm thinking it's an emergency. So I'm just telling her to call that. So multi-scan, this is where I wanted to go next because this is a huge game changer. So in my practice, I always worked with clients one-on-one. I did start working with groups of people. But you weren't able to be really individual per person. When I did groups, everybody had to have the same issue in order to be able to send the same frequencies to everybody. Multi-scan allows you to scan each person individually, scan and optimize them. So, and this scan will do the comprehensive scan and the vital scan. So those 2 scans that we had talked about before. And we'll do both of those for up to 16 people. So you can add a group and then scan 16 people and it will email them. And so it will email them directly or myself. I always put myself, my own email address in under my client's profile so that they all go to me so that I can then share it with my client. So I can always look back at past scans because sometimes it's nice to be able to compare those scans. But this really, really changed my business because being able to scan 16 people all at once, I couldn't even do 16 one-on-one sessions in a day, right? That would take me 16 hours. So you can now do 16 people all at one time. So I do this for groups and I also do this in my membership. And if you have more than 16 people, that's okay too, right? You're just doing groups of 16. So 16 people as many times as you like. And it's so fast. So fast. It's incredible.
And also what I did, I have my family as one group. Always, you should always have your family members. And then during my Mind Sync to Abundance course, during those 8 weeks, I was multi-scanning during our Monday morning mindset for everybody, just the straight up scan and optimize. And I was, again, getting everything, getting the target to be known, which we're each of will have. We can actually go into that at the end if we have time. But everybody's picture is now there. So it's just a beautiful way of doing more with less time. Cephis, do you want me to start this one, Julie, or?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so Cephis, this is, if you don't know what it means, it's subtle energy frequency imprinter. And what's really nice about this when I first started, so you could do it at a distance, but you can also you have a glass bottle, I don't know if you can see my picture here. I always have messages on my bottle. My bottle says divine digestion, divine absorption, divine elimination. But see, even this is energy, right? This is imprinting something in your bottle. Once I got the machine, we can put this on the machine and imprint whatever Cephi that you imprint, and we'll show you some of the programs coming up. But there are over 1,000 frequencies that you can choose and send at a distance or with the scanner. There's different lists. You can have homeopathics in here. I have these sucrose blanks. You can imprint sugar pills and give those to your clients. We have Cephi dots that you can stick on, so you can imprint these dots and stick them on a certain acupressure point, and they show you in the program exactly where to put them. So it's really, really easy to use Cephis. And some of the categories that we have, so you have all the positive affirmations. These are just topics, but within them, there could be hundreds. But there's all the positive affirmations with our quantum reach, all the illnesses and ailments that you can look up, and then more affirmations. We have all the Bach flowers and the bush flower essences. I love using the Bach flowers and looking them up and learning more about them. And you can choose all of your chakras, 300 plus homeopathic remedies. We'll go through the homeopathic remedies as well. And then the homeoenergetics for detoxing. And we have a list of them. Do you want to go through some of these? What has worked with you, Julie?
Oh yeah,
We
for
use these
sure.
all the time, but
I do. I love this section. It is important though, only to do 1 or 2 detoxes. The AO scan is really, really gentle, and they were very mindful when they created these detox frequencies, because they are supportive of the whole body. So when it says bacteria detox, they've taken into consideration that you also need to work on your liver, you need to work on, your lungs, your kidneys, all of it, because that whole system, everything in your body is involved in detoxification. So I really like that not many people will have a negative reaction from working on these detox frequencies. But like I was saying before, you do want to be really specific as to what you're working on. You wouldn't want to do a whole bunch of detoxes. You want to do 1, maybe 2 detoxes, depending on what the person's going through. And so you might look at their vital scan and see, hey, you know what? There's a lot of parasites showing up here. Maybe I'll add the parasite detox or the Verma Plus detox to their Cephi list and add that to the list of frequencies that you're going to send to them. I use these ones all the time. I probably put 1 detox in every Cephi list that I make. It's just so important to continually detox. And when I add that, I still add the liver inflammation Cephi as well, just to help further support the liver.
yeah, and I didn't really talk about Cephi lists, but when we get into Cephis, you can create your own playlists, and there's no limit. As you know, Julie, you've had this longer than me. I forget what year we started. Was it 2021, 20?
4 years ago.
Yeah. So over time, you build up quite a large list. And it happens over time. Like, you don't need everything and to have everything set up. You can really, and people share their lists. So you just have to post and say, what do you guys do for this? And what do you guys do for that? And then everybody has lists for it. So over time, I've developed lists. I've found lists, been shared. So really, it's a beautiful thing to start creating lists, and it gets easier and easier as you move forward, getting to know the homeopathic remedies. Speaking of which, you can't see it in this little picture here, but you can, if you know your homeopathic remedies, you can choose them by homeopathic remedies, but you can also choose by symptom. You can search, and then you can choose A to Z, you can look through the list, and if I pick anxiety, I will see which homeopathic remedies will come up for that. So you can not only scan and see what you need, but you can, if you know you want to send to a client, you can add this, look for homeopathic remedies through symptoms. Do you have anything else to add on this one, Julie?
I don't think so. I love this section. I use it all the time. I really do. And I always do it by symptom. It's very rare that I'll actually know the homeopathic that I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful thing. And again, you can also imprint them all. So remember that you can do this over the quantum field to your target, which is the person that you've entered into your machine using their picture and their name, or you can give sugar pills or Cephi dots, the magnetic strip credit cards. You could do all kinds of things. Like, it's endless. Creativity is all yours. I'm going to hand this one over to you, Julie.
So speaking of Cephi lists, this is an example of a Cephi list. So I had a client for the testimonial said, for the first time in a long time, she fell asleep without having to pee 500 times. So whatever you did worked. Thank you. This was a little girl who was having some bladder issues, no bladder infection. They had been to the doctor, no bladder infection, but just urgency constantly. And so this is what I did for her. I did the vital scan. I did the body system scan for the urinary system. And this is the Cephi list that I did. I only sent the Cephi list one time. I did it on individual and sent it for 2 minutes each. So a 2-minute broadcast. So that means it's sending each of those frequencies for 2 minutes to this little girl in the quantum field. I did not see her in person. And right after that, she had success. So that's just an example of a Cephi list and how fast it can work.
Amazing.
Okay, so like Tina was saying, you can create Cephi lists for all kinds. I have hundreds of Cephi lists. I think I have some examples maybe in the next slide. You can create Cephi lists per person, per condition, however you want to create them. But multicast, so similar to multi-scan, multicast allows you to send each person their specific frequencies all at the same time. So if Tina wants abundance and I want, I don't know, something for headaches, and my husband wants something for digestive, we each have our own lists. We create a group with everybody in it, and you can send each person their specific frequencies all at the same time. It is a massive time saver. It is huge. Yeah, this is just one of my favorite features of the AO scan. I will go into how I do my membership and my groups, but this is one of those features that I use for that.
And what I love about this as well, I was sending this on my Monday mornings during my abundance 8 weeks, and you can add affirmations and you can save it as default. So every day when you come in, the main affirmation that each client is working on is in there. And when you do it, you're not only doing the affirmation, but you're sending everything else. And you can scan for their flower as well, which I found, I just love seeing like what is needed for that person. So it gets you to learn. I do it for my family and pets. I have our little hamster in there. When we first got him, he was scared of my son. So I had like relationships and developing, best self and caring for the hamster. And yeah, so you could do all kinds of fun stuff as well. Inner voice.
Yes. So inner voice is one of the most amazing. I think I feel like I say that about every feature, really. It is another amazing feature of the AO scan. The inner voice is a 10-second voice analysis. So when somebody, if you're going to do this with a client or anybody, you can either do it in real time, like face to face with somebody, have them speak into your scanner and talk for about 10 seconds. Or what I do when I'm working with clients at a distance is I'll just get them to send me a voice message, over Facebook, or they can call my cell phone and leave me a message there. However they want to send you a voice message, and just talk for 10, I usually say 15 seconds, just to have that little bit of a buffer. It only needs 10 seconds, but I usually say 15. And what it does is it analyzes the voice and it gives frequencies in the form of sound therapy and music to help balance the central nervous system and help bring emotional balance. And it is fantastic. I actually didn't use this scan near as much as I should have in the beginning. I was so used to doing things, the other way from my other modalities. And so doing the vital scan was something that I was really used to. And I didn't take advantage of the inner voice until I started hearing all these other people talk about their testimonials. I thought, okay, I better introduce this to my clients. Wow, game changer for this as well. All of a sudden, people who I was struggling with to figure out what's going on, why aren't they sleeping? They start listening to the inner voice and they're starting to sleep all the time. It's amazing. It really is amazing. I notice it for myself. If I am not doing it, I just feel like, just blah. Listening to my inner voice every day, it just raises you up. It really raises your vibration. It's awesome. Do you have anything to add, Tina?
Yeah, well, I had a presentation last week and I just put my headset on. I do my 10-second imprint, because sometimes when I have to concentrate on a topic, I don't want to listen to my voice with the mind sync. So that's the two difference in there. With inner voice, it's just I put on the tune that I really need at the moment. That's really calming. Actually, I think it's called calming. And then I just go away and work on a presentation while I'm listening to my inner voice. So that's how I've really used it when I need to focus in and just not hear any noise. It's been amazing that way. But if you talk to, I'm sure there's so many people here, but if you talk to other users, there's so many testimonials on inner voice alone. I think Lauren, this was the main thing that started, was the inner voice. And there's some people that get the AO scan and just use inner voice. Like you don't, and I think that's the beauty of this is, yes, you have all these things available to you, but you don't have to use them all right away. Yeah, that's all I had to add.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So
Example.
so true, Tina. There are people who only use inner voice scan with their clients, and that's it. You don't have to use everything that the AO scan offers, and you don't have to know it all. None of us do, right? There's so much in there. So I just wanted to give you an example here of a membership. So this is what I do for my membership. So I do an inner voice scan once a month. Oops, I put moth. Once a month. And what they do is they send me a voice message, either, like I said, Facebook. I use Practice Better, which is an online platform, or give me a phone call and send a message, or a text voice message. So I do that once a month for them so that they can listen to their inner voice scan every day. They can do more if they want, but I do that as an added fee. I do a multi-scan once a month. So remember, that includes the vital scan and the comprehensive scan. So they get that once a month. And then they get their unique Cephi list. And I broadcast their Cephi list to them every Tuesday and Thursday. And so how I create their Cephi list, I'll ask them when I do their multi-scan how they're feeling, if there's anything that they need to work on. Do they have headaches or digestive issues, or what's going on? Do they have anything specific that they want to work on? But what I will do is go into each of the sections in Cephi that will allow you to scan. So for example, you can scan flowers to see what flower that person needs, which is going to help bring them emotional balance. You can scan the affirmations to see what they need within that section. So I'll scan each section for my client and create a Cephi list based on the scans and then based on their symptoms. And then they get those Cephi lists every Tuesday and Thursday. And the other thing that's in my membership are mind syncs, which I completely forgot to add here. So I record mind syncs and put them in there so that they can listen to the recording anytime. So it is more powerful if people do the mind sync in their own voice, but it's still beneficial even if they're listening to the mind sync with my voice. So that's another added feature of the membership.
We have a beautiful question from Anna. I think we'll get to it right at the end, Anna. So hold tight with that. We'll come back to you. Oh, yes. And so Julie doesn't do a themed membership. She actually asks the person what they need and then customize it to them. I am building a membership that's more of a theme because I'm really focused on stress release. So that's what I've been building, stress release and just vagal tone. I'm a busy woman working full time and doing this part time. And I feel like we need simple tricks in our life. So you can really look at your groups and you can either attract everybody with energy or you can attract the people that are looking for a certain topic. So really the world is your oyster. I have a friend that is doing more color therapy. She has all of the colored glasses. She does chakra, yoga, and then she focuses on all of the chakras. So there's so much that you can do in your memberships. Here's your examples.
Yes, so here's some examples of Cephi lists. So I used to also do groups, but this was before they had multi-scan. So my groups, as I was saying before, were really specific. So if I had, well, every spring, I would run a group for people who react to, the outdoors, anybody with hay fever. So my Cephi list there for allergies is the Cephi list that I would send to everybody within my group. And so even though I could customize that in my membership now, I probably still will do it as a specific group. I just find that a lot of people really like that group atmosphere that goes on for 2 to 3 weeks. And so what I do is I broadcast their frequencies 2 to 3 times a week for everybody in the group. And then prices of these things vary as well. It depends on how much work you're putting in, right? Because when I first was doing my membership, I wasn't doing all that I'm doing now. I was only doing Cephis. And I had just a set list of frequencies that they could choose from, and I would send their Cephis. So I was only charging $40 for that. But the membership, now that it includes so much more, the price has gone up to reflect that. So really, I'm including a follow-up session in my membership plus all the extras. But for my clients, it's cheaper than a follow-up session. So I charge $75 for the membership, but that would vary, right? Depending on what different people are going to do within their membership and what they're going to offer. Some other examples of Cephi lists, you might see on your scans meridians when they're out of balance. Well, what do you do when your meridian's out of balance? I have created Cephi lists that have all the different meridian balancing frequencies in there. So if somebody's small intestine meridian is continually showing up out of balance, then I might use this Cephi list. The acne list, I use that a lot. But just a side note, if you're working with a teenager who has acne, quite often it's really important that they give up dairy. Dairy can be a huge culprit for acne, actually all fats and oils, but especially if they're big dairy eaters, it's and hard to do for teenagers because they don't want to give up their pizza, but really important. But working on the frequencies can also help. Do you have anything to add to that, Tina?
Oh my goodness. I mean, um, you can have a different playlist for each chakra. So you could be focusing on different chakras each week. For my little guy, like from a group perspective, I do lots, but just my little guy has anxiety and he has very high functioning autism. So, he got his report card today and we went right to his anxiety because he's, then he sees his marks and he's feeling less smart. And the first thing he looked at me after we got off our parent teacher interviews tonight, he's like, Mom, can you send me my smart vibes?
Oh,
Said, Honey, we can do that all the time. And I said, I put it on his phone, but he's still too young to take initiative himself. But we're gonna get there. Right? And I think it's just, he asks for his smart vibes and his, oh, what was the other one? His chill vibes. And that's his anxiety playlist. So those are just things that this is the reason why I do it. First and foremost was for my son and being able to help him while he was at school and I wasn't there to help him. But I mean, I have hundreds of playlists as well. I mean,
mhm,
you can build playlists, any variation, and that's why they don't do them for you because everybody needs something different. And then you can build your own playlist.
mhm. And speaking of the stress and anxiety, I run a stress to Zen group,
Mm.
and I send the stress to Zen frequencies to them. I have so many testimonials. I actually forgot to put them in the presentation, but one person said, "You can count me in on the next session. I can't believe the difference I felt from this last one." Another person said, "I'm much less stressed than before the program started. Overall, my joint pain is less as well." Because stress causes inflammation in our body, right? So if you're able to reduce the stress, you're able to reduce the inflammation in the body as well. So loads of testimonials from Cephis. It's awesome.
Someone is asking if there's an order to the Cephi list, and is there a difference individually or at the same time? There is no difference individually or at the same time. Uh, However, I do try, you can add in the clearing. So I mean, I haven't gone back to a lot of my older playlists, but many of them I have clearing at the beginning, or I just clear them before I send the playlist. And then um, I ground at the beginning or shield. There's a shield as well. And so I clear, do the playlist and shield. That's just my own way that I try, but sometimes you got so much to add in, you don't have time to add though. You only have, how many can we have? 11? Is it or 15? I can't remember how many you can have in one, but sometimes there's just so many things you can add in that those two don't fit. Do you have anything else to add to that question, Julie?
Um, no, I would say that when I send somebody their list of frequencies, I usually try to do the individual 2-minute broadcast the first time, only just to introduce each frequency one at a time to the body when it's their first time getting it. After that, I will do it simultaneous all together as a reminder. Hey, remember these frequencies? But I usually the first time I do it individual. And a good point to make too is you can send multiple playlists to people. However, like I was saying before, if you're sending too much to somebody, it's just throwing spaghetti at the wall. And what's going to stick and what's not? How long is it going to take to get results? You're better off being really, really focused on a specific issue and just working on that, and you will get faster results.
Perfect. We will try to get to all your questions by the end, I promise.
Okay, so another area of the AO scan that I've had a lot of success with is the hormone section. So this is in the body systems. You can scan and optimize the hormones. And so there are quite a lot of hormones, and it does this scan in 6 seconds. It's unbelievable. So you could do this as a group. I have not done it as a group yet, but you could. But I usually, when I have clients who have hormone issues, I'll do this one-on-one with them. But especially with women who are going through menopause and they're having hot flashes and night sweats, balancing the hormones 3 times a day for 3 days in a row. So doing it morning, noon, and night, 3 days in a row is magic. And then I also do a Cephi list for them. But just that alone, it's incredible how hot flashes and night sweats can stop, and people will feel a huge difference. Actually, this scan as well, somebody that I was working with was having seizures, and they didn't know the cause, but we, obviously they were working with their doctor and they couldn't really figure out what the trigger was. But she said, I really think it's stress. Like they'll come on if I'm overtired or if I have a stressful event or something's going on. So I thought, well, let's work on your stress hormones using this body system scan. So I did the 3 scans 3 days in a row, and lo and behold, her seizures stopped. So the power of frequencies is huge.
Amazing. So I kept the supplement library, and it's not necessarily something you do as a group, but let's say you're a practitioner or even yourself, your own person. I've scanned in all of what I use, and I use a lot of different, because I used to do a lot of, although I haven't done so many courses or group memberships with the scan, I've done a lot of gut memberships in the past or courses. And I have so many different things I can use, and I don't want to use them all the time. There's different things that I use for different purposes. So I've scanned in all of my gut supplements and my minerals, all the different things, because I've done hair tissue mineral analysis as well. So I have all of that. And you can add all of your plus all of the supplements that Solex, the company, offers as well, which are amazing. There's so many different things. I'm testing the whole gut core kit right now. So all of that is in there, plus all of the homeopathics. So then when you're doing your easy scan, which is your inner voice, your vitals, and your comprehensive, once you get that final report, it brings the homeopathics in, and that's what I typically see what I need, and then I determine, I go take them. Sometimes it's my magnesium spray. Sometimes it really, so I use the supplement library more for myself. But also when I do the easy scan, when someone sends me a voice, I can send over those homeopathics. So it's not necessarily the supplements, but it's everything around it. So I just wanted to add this. It's not, you could still do it from a group perspective in some sense, but I just love it because it brings out the homeopathic that you need on a daily basis as well. And then you can look it up and see, you could really start learning what your body's asking for. So it's more from a personal perspective, but I still wanted to add this in. Okay, so we're getting to the end and we're almost there. So really you can look at this from a full spectrum aspect, a solution. It's, it has a monthly price tag, and we'll go through that. But if you think about it, the amount of money that we spend on different practitioners, you can keep yourself in balance daily. So this is huge from a daily perspective. And it's not just you, it's your entire family. So if you're not doing this as a practice or a practitioner, it's you and your family and your loved ones. But then if you are doing it as a practitioner, then man, I mean, the world is your oyster. It's non-invasive, it's safe. Again, it's subtle. And a lot of people look at the price tag, but truly, if you look at everything, you can save so much money on your supplements. If you do scan in all your supplements, you don't have to take all of those daily. You can look at energy, so many things. Anything you want to add, Julie? to this scan?
Um, I don't
Fine.
think so. I think just
Yeah.
maybe we'll talk about what actually is the AO scan and the price of
Oh,
it, because the
mhm.
AO scan now, it used to be a device that you had to buy. And for people that are new here, you no longer have to buy a device. You can actually use it on any device that has internet access. There are some requirements like 60, I think it's 64 megabytes. I can't remember. Anyways, there are some, you can't use a really old iPad, but any newer device, your smartphone, you can use it from any of those devices. Um, so I just wanted to cover that because I did see somebody in the chat asking what device is it. So I just wanted to cover that. It's called the AO scan, but you don't actually need a device. You can use it on any device you already own.
Mm. I think I had one slide out of sync, so we'll get to how you can get the device, but I'll let you do this slide, Julie, and then we'll get to the finishing touch.
Yeah, so the AO scan helps with balanced health. It helps with helps your body understand and stop reacting to environmental stressors. It restores balance, it renews energy, and educates you on where support is needed. It will give you suggestions, you know, if your body is wanting more water or maybe chiropractic. It will give you suggestions as to what your body is wanting. It helps balance low energy frequencies because low energy frequencies are everywhere. You know, it's just like Wi-Fi, right? We're exposed to all these low vibrational frequencies all the time, and being able to support our bodies with this technology is really a game changer. It's amazing to be able to support your body in that way. It neutralizes negative energies with regular optimization. So when you're doing this daily for yourself, or even my members, I'm doing it for them 2 times a week. It greatly helps to increase and raise their vibration so that they can stay healthier. So, our mission is to raise the vibration of the planet by helping people put their health back into their hands with quantum technology tools from SolX. Our vision is to help every person with the AO scan technology achieve the torus balance between spirit, mind, and body to improve their health and well being and raise the vibration of the planet. Um, Tina, I can't read the last one. Can you read it? Your
Oh,
photo, your picture is in the way for me.
really? Ah, yes. So we are cultivating a community of high vibing, wise, unique, and beautiful humans. Oh, and something's in my way. Leading with compassion and integrity to make this world a healthier and happier place. So yes, that is the mission of Team Taurus and what we're a part of, our community.
It really is a beautiful community of people, having so many friendly, loving, like-minded people. It's just amazing. It's really it's a beautiful thing. Um, did you want to talk about this, Tina?
Sure thing. Yes. So I've added here, so it is an investment, but when I joined, I had to buy a device. So my initial investment was $1,000. Now you can have it on your phone. So you don't have to buy a device. You can just buy the monthly subscription. And just looking at our certification, Julie, the investment that we did when we first became registered bioenergetic practitioners with the BIE technique, uh, the machine, it was a $10,000 initial investment. And then I have about $10,000 of vials, frequency imprinting vials. And, you know, that's something that Julie and I have not talked about is the another program that we're actually just working on all different things with. Maybe we could do another one-on-one kind of session. Today was more groups, but we have the AO tune and we've been using a lot of that. But again, for me to get into become a registered bioenergetic practitioner was 20,000. And then you saw how much money that the first machine. So we've come a long way. So I know people say, oh my God, $149 a month. Really and truly, if you knew what we invested in all of these other machines and how far we've come, you wouldn't be thinking that way. And again, it's all about mindset. So if you need, I can send you some mind sinks, because really, if you think about what this can do to your body, your family, and your loved ones, and if you're a practitioner, to your practice, you wouldn't even think twice. So I just wanted to say that. And then Julie added in here, less than 1 or 2 appointments with a practitioner. So you could really do a lot yourself from a preventative or a daily balance. So really we you can always reach out and ask us questions, but we want you to go back to the person that invited you here today. But we're always here to support all of those people. If you have more questions, Julie and I came and did this group, tried to infuse how we do things with groups, but there will be other presentations that we do that we can kind of look at one-on-one clients or just for families. Julie, do you have anything else to add there?
I don't think so. I think we're at the hour. So
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for joining us. Like Tina said, if you have any questions, please reach out, and definitely reach out to the person who invited you, because they will have all the information that we have. And if they don't know an answer to something, they can always ask us too.
Yes. And then for all of those people that didn't get their questions answered, you can always reach out to the person that invited you, and they will come to us. Like if you don't have our contact, they'll come to us and get that information for you. And I believe I have the chat saved. So I'm going to go back and try to capture and reach out to everybody that I can. But I think there was one question that I wanted to go back to. Let's see. So when you transition, this is more of a practitioner. So I felt like this was important to come back to. And then I think this might be the only question we can take tonight, and then we'll try to get to the others. So when you transitioned from in-person frequency healing to distance frequency healing, what was the most powerful language or approach that helped bridge that shift? What resonated most with your clients and allowed them to fully receive and trust the healing process? I know everyone on this call understands in depth of this work. Thank you, and absolutely love this presentation. So Julie, do you have any thoughts on that question? I personally, Julie just shares from her heart and she's excited. She loves to educate because, that's why I'm still around Julie.
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing I do is explain frequencies and how they work. And so I'll usually use the example of, let's say, a little girl is eating strawberries, and every time she eats strawberries, she gets a rash all over her cheeks. That's telling me that her body's not understanding or recognizing the frequency of the strawberries. So what we want to do is help her body understand that the frequency of strawberries is not dangerous, and her body doesn't have to have that reaction. We want her body to be able to see that frequency, like most other people's bodies see that frequency, that it's not harmful. And so we work to send that balancing frequency to the body so the body can understand it and no longer see it as a threat, and create homeostasis within the body. And then when it comes to working remotely, I explain to people that frequencies have no time or space boundaries. It's just like how we're on Zoom right now, right? I'm on an iPad, there's no wires attached, right? And I also explain to people, it can be kind of like an ultrasound, which I know an ultrasound is in person, but an ultrasound is taking a sound wave, sending a sound wave in, and getting a reading back. And it's kind of like that with the AO scan. So if we're taking the frequency of an apple or a hormone, we're sending that frequency in the quantum field to the person because we've created an energetic signature for that person. We've added in their profile, their first name, their last name, their photo, their email address. That creates kind of like their phone number. So we're dialing into that person, sending them the frequencies, and then we're getting a reading back. So similar to the ultrasound where you're sending in a sound wave and getting a reading back, we're doing kind of the same thing, sending a frequency to the person we're working with and getting a reading back. So that's how I explain it to people. But I would have to say, doing remote scans and just having people experience it is probably the most important. And, in the beginning, I did free scans for people. I wanted to see if it worked. I needed to know if it worked. So I did free scans for people until I had that absolute knowing that it works, because time and time and time again, I've seen many miracles.
And one thing I wanted to add to that, and it's related but not really, when people are starting and they want to do it all, one thing that I learned when I first got into energy is it's like if you where Julie had said stay focused, there's beauty in that, because if you get introduced to 100 different people, will you remember all of their names? No. But if you get introduced to 2, maybe 5, you'll probably recognize their names or remember their names. So just remember that when you're using your scanner, instead of doing like full on, let's just scan the entire comprehensive body and see what comes up. It's subtle. You really need to focus in and do things repetitively and over time. Sometimes you'll completely change someone with one scan, but sometimes it'll take a few to change things and rebalance. So I just wanted to add that before we end. But we are over time. So thank you everybody for coming, and we will have the recording. We'll share that, and yeah. And hopefully I will have the transcript and I can go back to all the different questions that we didn't answer. Thank you again.
Thank you, Tina. Thanks, everyone.